This video, this argument, well, it's not really an argument, it's an observation, so I'm not going to try to persuade anyone with this. This is just intended for those who know that professional creationists and quite a few of their underlings are as dishonest as a human being can come. As I say, I'm not attempting to persuade anyone, this is just an observation. First of all, if you see somebody walking down the street and you notice that they are consistently, time after time, avoiding the cracks in the sidewalk, you can be sure of one thing, and that is that they see the cracks quite clearly. And so it is with the professional creationist. There are mistakes that these people should be making that they don't make. For instance, they will repeat the same bullshit over and over on DVDs and in books, but they won't appear in a court of law and repeat them. That should tell you all that you need to know. But there's a deeper mistake that they're not making. All they want to do is disprove evolution. They come at it from a number of directions. There's nothing they won't do. They come up with all sorts of convoluted arguments. They even claim that every single scientist on the planet is in some great conspiracy against Christianity or creationism. Now, you know, when somebody says that, if you have a tenth of a brain, if you have a rat's brain, you know you're dealing with bullshit. And you know that there's pretty much nothing that they won't say. They'll put words into the mouths of dead people, they'll falsify documents and correspondence, they'll attempt to cut chapters out of books. There seems nothing they won't do, yet it's odd. Because if the simplification is accurate that all they're trying to do is disprove evolution, it's odd that they're trying to come up with all these different arguments when, well, actually they don't have any different arguments, they're repeating the same arguments that were used 100 years ago. But if they're going to go to the trouble of creating something like the Discovery Institute, which is just creationism with a white lab coat on, if they'll go to all that trouble, you have to wonder why they didn't take the advice of JBS Haldane, who, as an evolutionary scientist, when asked what would disprove evolution, he replied, fossil rabbits in the Precambrian. So there it is. Creationists have been handed on a plate the means to disprove evolution from the mouth of an evolutionary scientist. It's there. It's, you know, how easy is that? I mean, what would it take? There are fossilized modern rabbits, and it has to be a modern rabbit, remember, you know, not an oldie, one that used to lay eggs. Oops, more signs of evolution. But a modern rabbit, you can get fossilized ones of those. Why don't they just bury it in some Precambrian rock strata and wait for the scientists to find it? Or better still, why don't they dig up some Precambrian rock strata and plant the fossilized bunny in that rock and then present it to the scientists to verify their finding? Why don't they do that? The first Nobel Prize for Creationism goes to Ray Comfort and Kirk Cameron and the Discovery Institute. Why don't they do it? How many dishonest creationists are there around the planet who have the means to do it, yet they haven't done it? It's interesting. I'm trying to show the depth of their dishonesty through a lie they won't tell. Why won't they do it? It's quite easy. I've just told them how to disprove evolution. Why don't they fake it? They'll fake anything else in the cause. Why won't they fake that? It's because they fucking know the science works. They obviously know it works. They know that we would expose it as a fake very quickly. We take samples from the rock, send them in boxes to 20 labs around the world without telling them anything else, and just say, how old is this rock and how old is this rock? And the labs would all come back with the same result within a few %. The reason the creationists haven't done it is because they can see the crack. They know the crack is there. They know the science works. They know that they would be humiliated in public to the point where even the Christians would turn against them in force. And let's face it, at the moment the Christians haven't. All of the debunkings are coming from atheists and agnostics and skeptics. The Christians aren't saying boo to this fat, ugly goose which is dragging their religion through a pile of steaming shit. And the Christians are just standing by. Well, he's a Christian. That's okay. More strength to him. This is why your religion will rot via your inaction, not your action, not the things you say and do, but the things you don't say and don't do. You think they're your ally when in fact they're your enemy. A lie too big for creationism. Who would have thought it? I once asked a wise man what the meaning of life was, and he said to me, "Jestem skaczący mężczyzną ze stopą." But I don't speak Polish, so I have no fucking idea what he meant.